So in this video, we're gonna see how the Git branches works and what are the Git branches and how does it work and how we can use the Git branches to write the program or to develop the program more efficiently, right? So in the software, in the process of the software development, there is a team that is working to build a software, right? So there is a developer team, there is a designing team, and there is a testing team which test the bugs, and if there is any kind of bug, and they fix that bug, right? So there are multiple teams that are working to build a software, right? Someone writes the front end, someone writes the back end, someone just works on the UI UX design. So there are many things that are associated with the one software. So there are multiple teams that are working on the same software. So while you are working on the different features of the same software, while you are working on the code of the software, you just have to distribute the parts of the software to the respective team, right? Like you have to give a copy of your program to the front end developers so they can work on the front end of the software. Then you have to give the copy of your code to the back end developer so they can work on the back end, right? So this is the thing. And when the front end and back end have completed their work, then they just shift their work to the testers, and in the end they test the software and try to figure out if there is any bug in that software. Git branches works in the same way. So what is the Git branches? Git branch is a pointer to a specific commit in the Git repository. It allows you to work on different versions of your code simultaneously. Now, what is the meaning of the first line that I have told you? A Git branch is a pointer to a specific commit in the Git repository. Now, when we just make a commit to our GitHub repository or Git repository, then it asks that whether you want to make changes to the main branch or you want to make changes to some other branch. It asks that, right? So if you want to make changes to the main branch, then there's an option, then we have to just proceed with those steps. And if we want to make changes to some other branch, then we have to rename it or to find the branch that we want to make the changes. So it allows you to work on the different versions of code simultaneously. As I told you before, some of the team is working on the one side of the code, while the other side of the code is developed by the other team, right? So the Git branches allows you to work on a code simultaneously, on a different versions of the code simultaneously, right? To distribute the code among your team members and in the end merge that code in order to create a final software. Now, how does this work? Let me explain you. Now, here is the master, or you can say the main branch, right? The master branch or the main branch, these are the same names, same naming convention. Whether you say the master or the main, it's the same thing. Now this is, you can say you have created or initialized a code, and this is your first commit, right? This is your first commit, and you have just initialized your code and you have built some sort of softwares right there, right? Now what you have done, you have just associated this software to your testing team or bug fixing team, right? So the bug fixing team or the testing team will now analyze that code if there is some errors or if there is some bug in that code, so they can improve or resolve that bug, right? So they have made some changes, they have associated it with the second commit, and if they got another error or a bug, they fixed it and they made another commit, that is the commit number 3, right? Now on this side, on your main branch, you are still working on your code, you are still working on your code, and one copy of your code you have shifted to the bug fixing team, right? But you are still working on your code, right? You are not waiting for the bug fixing team to complete their work and then you will gonna proceed. No, you have just created a copy and transferred to the testing team, right? And you are still working on your software. Now at this stage you have made another commit here. Maybe you have made name it commit number 4. Now what you have done, now at this stage you want to add some feature to your code or your application. Now what you have done, you made a copy of that code and you have transferred that copy to another development team which could add the feature on that software or application, which will add some of the features on your software. So they started working on the feature and then they made some changes, add some features. Let's say they added the first feature, let's name that commit number 5, and then they add another feature out there that they name commit number 6, right? And at this point the bug fixing team just transferred your code to yourself, they return your code to yours to yourself, and then what you have done, you just merge your code with the code that is provided by the testing team or a bug fixing team at this stage. And finally what you have done, you have merged your code with the code provided by the development team who was just adding the feature to the code, right? So in the end, at this stage, this would be maybe name it C7. You just add the 7th commit. You have added your code from the main branch or the master branch and the code from the bug fixing branch, right? And in the end, what you have done, you have merged your code with the code provided by the developing team who was working on the features of the software. And now lastly, on the commit number 8, on this commit number 8, you have merged all of the code into a one program file, and then your software has been developed, right? Your software is completed, your final product has been completed. So this is the advantage of using the Git branches, that you don't have to completely rely on the team that they will first gonna finish their work and then you have to continue your work. No, you don't have to wait for them. You will continue working on your project and they will continue on their part of the project and build a software in less amount of time, right? So this is the advantage of the Git branches that helps you to work on different parts or different areas of the software. So I hope you understand the concept of the Git branches in this video. Thank you.